Okay, here we go. Oops. There we go. All right. So, can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Let's see. I got to let people in over here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Friday night chat. Got a lot to talk about. And we got people joining. Go ahead and come on and sit right down. All righty. So we've got a few folks in already. And we'll get started on chatting here in just a minute. I actually just read the visit a little while ago. So it's short, really short to the point. And anyhow, we're going to be hopefully having an event at the end of the month, in the middle of this month. So the 23rd through the 26th, I believe. And we'll be doing the Children of Light Conference. So this week's topic is the latest visit, because we just got one on June 1st, the wee hours of June 1st. Joe gets woken up in the middle of the night and has a visit. And anyhow, he sometimes has some questions, and Michael sometimes has some things for us to do. Most of the time, he has something for us to do. This time, it looks like he was to remind Joe of what we were going to do last year, which is something we weren't able to do because of the pandemic. We weren't able to get together and do what we normally do. And according to this year, this visit is every year we have things to do, and we have a flow that's been happening. And last year the flow was interrupted. So anyhow, there we go. We're still admitting folks in. According to Michael, we had a process that we were going to do last year. I have no idea what it is. So we'll wait for a few more folks to come in. Hi, Sarah. Excellent. So looks like the link is working a lot better this time. Last week, folks were talking about not being able to get through the link. And this week we got people coming on in. That's it. Okay, I got the visit up. And looks like we got folks coming on in. Glad Michael visited him. Yeah, Edward says that on the chat. Well, the more visits, if we want more visits, we should do more gatherings. We will get more visits with more gatherings. The more the masters pick up this work and do stuff with it, the more they have for us to do. Once we start accomplishing the things that they've given us over the years, they'll give us more. I mean, we got a long way to go to 144,000. We have 81 people signed up for the event this year. So we've had low number events before. Our Atlanta, Georgia conference 6 years ago was just a few people. So I think we had like 78 people at that particular one. And we were still able to get the flash from the Shekinah and start the process of the joining of the Metatron and the Shekinah. We finally actually did that joining of the Metatron and the Shekinah in Dallas in 2016. So unfortunately, we only had about 120 or 130 people at that particular one. Last year before last was Colorado Springs. We had 151 people. So this year we may have less. Hopefully we'll get some more. So what they were talking, what Joe and Michael were talking about in the visit was the dog. Apparently Joe was woken up to the dog and Michael playing in the living room in the office, what he calls an office, and it's off to the side of his kitchen, and it's a living area, but he turned it into an office, and that's where you'll find all of his stuff. It's usually covered with packing material and tuning forks, lots of tuning forks everywhere, and gate stones and oils. So anyhow, he was playing with the dog and he said, she'll grow into a fine dog and serve you well. And he was eager to speak of the things that he came for. And he wanted to send blessings to the masters, which is what he does all the time. He sends blessings to the masters for doing the work that you guys do. And he was talking about the importance of what we were supposed to do last year. And he asked Joe if he remembered what he had given him, and he did. Yes, he said yes, he remembers. So basically, this year is very important, especially for the sanity of our planet. The masters are at cause when they come together. And the reason why we come together at the same place at the same time on the same day is because the energies only work in a group, okay? So in the same spot. So if you were to do this with people over in another country, there's not going to be enough energy to come together. Or if you do it separately in different states, or even blocks apart from each other, it really, if you think about it for a minute, it really makes sense when the masters come together. Each person brings forth an energy that adds to the boon of energy for the weekend. And that's why when we get more people, we have more stuff that gets done, because we have more energy available. And on short years like this one, those that show up are sometimes given a burden to carry something for the next year, or have something to do that's different than what we would normally do. Like one year in it was Virginia Beach, we only had 130 people to carry out the vibrations of compassionate wisdom. So each of us were infused with compassionate wisdom, and we were to, when you place your hand on somebody's heart, you would bless them with that. So wisdom and joy, basically. We were given the keys to wisdom and joy. So, and ironically, he had little keys that had wisdom and joy on them, and they weren't just little keys. They had energies infused in them. They're still on my altar. So, okay, so getting back to the visit, Joe remembered what he was given last year to do, and Michael said, "You lost a whole year, and look at where your country is today." And Joe says, "Yeah, it's pretty crazy over the last year." And he says, "The bath, that was a bath your world was in, yet there was no one there to intercede in what was about to take place. The masters could have made a difference had you had the conference last year. How many times must I remind you? The masters are very powerful. And when they come together, they create a vibration to be a cause." So we're going to work with what we got. It's like doing any of the processes. If you're missing something, don't worry, just go with it. We can do this. Okay. So it's not a Chicken Little moment or anything like that. Michael did say much can be done with the number of masters standing together in formation. And then he sort of took off and went off to do whatever angels do when they're not talking to Joe, which is probably a lot, because there's a lot more going on out there than just this little planet, but this little planet does affect all of the planets out there, everything out there. Our consciousness goes out like waves. And I remember one of the visits that Michael was talking about. What Michael was talking about was how when we strike tuning forks or use an oil, that vibration goes out. So everything pretty much we do affects everything around us. And we don't always think about that kind of stuff because we're busy doing the things that we're doing and we get caught up. All right, so somebody's chatting with me, which is hard for me to watch chat and talk at the same time, but I'm going to go ahead and read the chat. Yep, exactly. We'll get there. Okay, so any idea how many are coming? 81 so far. My brother's family has 5 and he hasn't signed up yet. So that's going to be about 86 after that I know of. And we'll make a major difference. Okay, yeah, we will. We could make a bigger difference if we had over 222. You see, the magic number is 111, 222, 333, 444. Why is that? Because of the harmonics that is created at those vibrations. Now, the 111 one isn't as the same type of vibration as you would get for double that amount, obviously. So as it goes up exponentially. And the only event that we actually had over 400 people at, I believe we had close to 600 people, was the Yellowstone event. But unfortunately, in my personal opinion, about 85 to 90% of those people came to watch the 7 Native American elders that were to speak that week. And it was about that. It wasn't about what we were doing. So a lot of people came out of the woodworks. And we did Virginia Beach the very next year. We had 130 people show up that next year. So we didn't have Native American elders, so we didn't have the boom that we had the year before. I'm thinking they wanted to have something to talk about. I don't know. The works that we're doing is so bloody important. I mean, words can't express how important it is that we do this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and open up for questions. I see Edward's going ahead and typed a few in here. So if you guys want to unmute yourself and ask a question, go right ahead, and then just mute yourself afterwards if you have any questions. So the place we're having this year is going to be in Dallas, Texas. So it's going to be a little warm. So you want to, bring the right kind of clothes if you're coming. The hotel is very well air conditioned. It has a swimming pool. It has all that stuff. The room that we're going to be in is pretty well put together and air conditioned. However, when you get a bunch of bodies into a room, you heat up a room because you got a lot of bodies walking around that are hot. And then the energies that we create in that room makes you warm. So they have a great restaurant right there on premise. When you register and when you get your room, I believe you're getting breakfasts. Each morning we get breakfast, which is an important thing to do because we're about to go and do some work. You want to eat in the morning before we go. And it's important to be on time for everything that we do and everybody be present in the room that we're in, because all of the energies put together does the stuff that we need to do. Now, I'm not sure what the music lineup is going to be. I don't know if Sean's going to make it this year. I heard something about him not being able to make it. Don't know for sure. Hoping he can. Laurel could probably keep up on the music while everybody else helps out. So that's not the biggest, most important part of it. The biggest, most important part of the conference or the event are the people coming. That's the main event. It's the huge part, because without you guys, none of this is possible. So, I can't express how important it is and imperative that your participation is here at this event. So if you can make it, please do. Move heaven and earth, because heaven and earth is moving to, help you. So that's what we're doing. Now, I did talk to Joe yesterday, and he's pretty well set. Diane Daniels is coming down to help. She's in transit right now, if not at his place by now. Coming to help him get things set up every year. For the last few years, she's been coming out and getting things set up with her. She organizes everything. The person who's doing the booth usually does the booth, Eliona. She may not be able to make it because of a child being born at the same time. So Joe's looking for help with his booth. Don't know if he found that yet. So I'm sure I'll be sitting in where I can, but I'll be doing sound and backing up the music and answering whatever questions may come up during the day. You guys, if you've been to an event, you see me running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I'm pretty much doing anything I can to keep the thing flowing. So last year, or the year before last, went particularly well because we had no outside teachers coming in teaching anything from the outside. Everybody that was there that was teaching, the same with this year, is part of the group. So we're no longer inviting people that don't participate in our group in. It's not that they don't participate. They have a different thing going on. So we'll be there to teach anybody that wants to come and learn this stuff. Now, Joe's going to be teaching about the tuning forks again, which is important. So, and Rick is going to be teaching about the oils. Now, you need to understand something about the forks and the oils. They go together, okay? They go together like peanut butter and jelly, like Starsky and Hutch. It's like they're really good together. So if you're doing healing work and you're just getting oils, you also need forks. Okay. So if you're doing healing work and you're just buying forks, you also need oils. Okay. So these things work together in conjunction. And what happens is the fork brings the body to the vibration that it needs to come to, and the oil sustains it because it has a specific vibration that is able to be held when you place it wherever it needs to be placed. Now, in acutuning is the same thing. You use the tuning fork to open up the meridian, and you use the oil to sustain that meridian open. And what you're doing is you're tuning it back to its proper frequency. And somebody's talking to me on Facebook. All right, I can't see that. So anyhow, I got my trusty phone here. I'm thinking it's Jim Parfit, Weekly Corn. All right, let's go ahead and break off and see about this real quick. An elderly couple is sitting in the church. The wife looks over at the husband and said, I let out a silent fart. What should I do? He replies, change your hearing aid batteries. Okay, so everybody heard this. Everybody hear this joke? He's just right on the edge with that one. So anyhow, every week he's got a different joke for us. So we have a couple new people coming in. We have Carol, my wife, and Laura. I don't know which Laura that is. We have several of those. So anyhow, hi.
Hi.
Who's that in the window? Oh, okay.
Hi.
Oh, Laura Michaels. Okay, I know that.
Yes, Laura Michaels.
I know that voice. Okay, great. And then Cindy's got somebody saying hi to us with a clarinet, I think, in their hand. And she's talking to the screen without her speaker on. You got to turn your microphone on in order for us to hear us. There you go. Oh, lost her. She pushed the wrong button. How do I?
Yeah.
There you are. Okay, what were you saying, sweetheart?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, nothing. I don't remember.
There's my wife. I could see her. There she is. We had to get up early today to go run like hell to get to some appointments. It was pretty fast. And we're having road construction out here. So if we get out into the road, we're going to be sitting there for 10 to 35 minutes, depending on how long it takes Caltrans to get the heck out of the way for us to go do our thing. So we chose to go the back route. And it was kind of windy and stuff. So it kind of wore us all out. Plus it's hot. It does that every year at this time. We get heat. It's a novel thing. Up here is not as hot as down in the city, but boy, do we get some heat. And anyhow, but it's nice in our place because she's got it all air conditioned and looks good. So, and she's laying on our bed right there. You can see her little head. All right. Okay, so, oh, Judy's here. I saw you. When did you sneak in, Judy? Did you sneak in on me?
Yeah, I've been in pretty much the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Listening to you babble on.
There's all these. What's that? Watch me babble on.
Uh-huh. It's fun.
Well, anybody can babble on if they choose to step up and do something about it.
You're filling in the blanks?
Wanting to do it.
Yes.
Anyhow, yeah, I've been doing this chat thing for coming up on 3 years in August. So
Yeah.
It was an idea I had many years ago. We used to have other types of chat too. When we had Yahoo groups, we were able to open up chat rooms. We weren't able to interact like this. We were able to interact with voice chat, but not video and voice. Okay. And a lot of it was typing. And then we graduated on to the Facebook thing, but that was years and years later. And we actually had a Gathered Masters chat room at one point in time, but that's long gone. I have the chats from those, so back in Montana, and that was 20 years ago. So
Wow.
long time we've been doing this stuff. the first page I created for the Masters was Angelic Gate, but it was on this thing called Hotmail. Now, Hotmail, you can build your own website, basically run your own thing. And what today's Angelic Gate looks like is what Hotmail was. This is just a lot easier to interact on because the Hotmail one, it was, you had to have administrators and anybody can, one of the administrators can go in and do stuff. This one is just very similar to that, but there's only one administrator. So, and I updated the website today for the visit. If you want to read the visit, Joe has the newsletter out, but the link you click on that takes you to a blank page. Then if you go to Joe's website, beatpeace.net, click on latest visit, that's going to be the visit from November of 2020, but you have to go on angel visits and then click 2021 and you'll find the latest visit there. So I need to have a conversation with Joe on how to get that link back together and stuff. So I'm not.
Yeah, I got stuck on that. I was trying to find it and
Yeah, everybody got lost. So I on my side
again.
I was driving when it came out, so I had to wait until I got home to put the visit up. So we got the visit up. It's very short. It's really super short because it's really simple. Show up this year. We need as many able bodies as we possibly can. I don't even know how many people are. I don't think anybody's getting gathered at this particular event this year. I haven't gotten any notification about people being gathered. So generally when somebody signs up and they say they need to get gathered, oh wait, Cindy's over there.
Yeah.
It's down the hall and to the left.
No, thanks. I did the potty dance too late.
Yeah, your son's coming. He's gonna need to get gathered.
Yes.
So, okay, great.
Told me there'd be a few more too.
I hope so. I hope so. It's a nice process that everybody gets to be involved in. It's fun. I like doing those at the event too. I like doing them better at home because it's a nice 3-day thing. And you get to know these people a little bit better than you would at an event because everybody's kind of busy doing their thing at the event. So not a whole heck of a lot else going on. I do talk to Joe about every other day or so. And, he's just getting ready to go. He's got all the forks painted and everything that needs to be done. He had a bunch done from last year, but since between here and there, a lot of them got sold. So we had to get more. I don't know what Michael has us doing for this bringing the world back to sanity thing. I have no idea. I wish I did. I wish we could have done it last year. But
Yeah, I would love to come, but I've got medical procedures that are going on there that are pretty important.
It's been coming for a lot of years, Mel.
Oh.
So, it's make it, you can't. You can't make it, you can't.
I'm gonna miss you all.
It's gonna be
miss you too.
It's gonna be rough without you. It's gonna be a quiet smoking section.
Yeah.
My brother,
And I won't be there to bug you either.
well, that's okay. You're not bothering me. My brother
Well, if I have,
regulars and he couldn't come because he adopted 2 kids and he couldn't bring them out of the state. So there was like 4 or 5 years he couldn't even come because he couldn't bring the kids with him. So now that he's got full custody of them, he can do anything he wants with them. So now he gets to show up. So we're all hauling out there in a 12 seat.
May I share a few things?
Sure. What do you got, Laura?
Okay, one is that I got the intuitive hit to do the last baptism again tomorrow morning or at noon. You know, the last baptism that you do before you get gathered?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I did my last one on May 4th, 2002, and apparently that was my second to the last.
Oh.
I'm doing the last
I've come up
baptism
before.
again.
We've actually had this conversation with Michael before. Don't worry, honey. They have record of you doing it the first time, even if you forget what the energy was. You
I
can do
know,
it.
I know. But I got the
But all
intuitive
you're
hit
going to
to
be
do it
doing
again.
is washing yourself with wine. It's really, there's nothing going to be happening other than you're washing yourself with wine. You only need to, it's like getting gathered. You only need to do it once, but you can do it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
but I just think it's a waste of perfectly good wine.
Well, I've got a nice bottle of organic wine that I would rather drink.
It's like we've had over the years, we've had people wanting to do things over, like being regathered and stuff like that. There was only one person that actually needed to be regathered and got regathered, and that was Steve Gibson. And the reason why is because he removed himself from the gate by creating a violent act within the gate. So, but yeah, you go ahead. If you want to do it again, it's it's already been done once.
Right.
Now there are others that haven't done it.
The other thing is that I am making dinner on Tuesday before the conference, and I would like to invite everybody to come for dinner.
That sounds really good.
Just let me know what time you'll be popping into my room.
The night before the event. Okay.
Right, Tuesday.
We don't know what time we're getting there. We're driving in. We're leaving or as early as we can on the 21st. Hopefully getting there late in the 22nd. So I got to definitely be there at 8 a.m. on the 23rd. So, and getting the room ready and all that groovy stuff. On the 22nd is when we set up the vendors booths and stuff like that. So.
Well, I'm arriving in Dallas early, and Maxine and Meryl graciously offered to pick me up and take me grocery shopping.
Sweet.
And then I'm going to put together a dinner for anyone and everyone who wants to come.
Sounds groovy.
Yes.
It's definitely necessary on account of most folks will be traveling and not want to go out and do anything. So if it's already there and ready to go, sounds
Right.
good to me. We've had community dinner style stuff going on for years, and it's really good that we keep that up because there are people that spend everything that they have to get there and they don't have enough money to eat. So that's where that came up, is where people started feeding each other, and it works out great.
Well, it's my joy to feed people. So
absolutely, sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it. I'll take you up on it.
Okay.
So, anywho. Do we need any more vendors? Who's asking that question? Is that Edward? If you need any help, get there. Okay, so that is Edward, and he's asking, do we need more vendors? In my opinion, the least amount of vendors, the better, because the vendors have been a distraction for many years. We had people that wouldn't stop vending during the event. So we have some changes to that. But yeah, there's always room for more vendors. We just add another table. I don't see why not, as long as it's pertaining to what we're doing there or has something to do with that sort of thing. We don't want like a Scientology vending booth there. That's probably not going to go over very well.
That's it.
I don't think a vending booth for the Republican Party will go very far there at all. So I know we need a QAnon booth. I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could have prevented all that if everybody showed up at the event. That's pretty funny, huh? You guys had the power to do that.
Well, in the visit, Michael made reference to us not coming together last year. However, that was canceled.
Well, it was canceled by us because we had a pandemic happening.
And I remember Michael saying to Joe that was very wise of Joe.
It was very wise of Joe because people would have gotten sick. Okay.
Right.
And it's not of any fault of yours. It was the fault of, in my opinion, one person, the guy that fired the pandemic team.
Oh yeah, I was prepared to come.
Ready to roll. We've had other things come up in our country that worked. I'm not going to get political about it because it's not political. That's murder, in my opinion. We could have prevented it simply by having 200 or more people at the events. If we've had 200 or more people at the events for the last few years, this last 4 or 5 years wouldn't even been anything to think about. We'd be in a whole different situation. We'd have a whole lot more to work with for ourselves. Okay. Now, Michael talked about a process that we're going to be doing at the event this year that will help bring the world back to sanity. And I'm so on board with that. But there's also another process that's going to be happening there that is extraordinarily important for the masters to know. It's living your soul purpose. There's a process where we break off into these groups, and the groups tell you what your life's purpose is. Each of you take turns telling each other what is being seen, okay? And you'll find out what your life's purpose is. And there's, you're either doing your life's purpose or you're not doing your life's purpose. How to tell if you're not doing your life's purpose is you don't like what you're doing. How to tell if you are doing your life's purpose is if it goes easy and you do it well. That was a process that one of the first things that I learned, the first class I took with Joe was living your soul purpose. And it was a teaching that he got from Alexander Everett. And subsequently, they told me, this is what I'm going to be doing, what I've been doing for the last 26 years with Joe. So, there were other people that had other things. There was a musician in my group and a nurse in my group. And the nurse was being a nurse and the musician wasn't being a musician. So he kind of got a different idea on what to do. And he's really famous over in the UK. So somebody's got a dog barking.
Yeah, me, sorry.
Okay. So,
Edward, they said that there was an announcement that we didn't have to wear the masks, or that you didn't have to wear the masks.
okay, so here's what's happening in Dallas, okay? Dallas is a different country all unto its own, okay? In California, people are still protecting each other with those things. But over in Texas, they don't have that any longer. They don't really care about you. So they're not masking up or anything like that. So if you choose to wear a mask, you can wear a mask, okay? Myself, I'm fully vaccinated. I don't care what anybody thinks about that. Michael said it would be wise to do. And he also said
Congratulations.
there was divine intervention in getting this thing out to people, but also doing some more research on it. This thing wasn't just developed last week. It was been developed over the last 6 years. Okay, so they had to just hit the fast forward button at the end, and they got some divine intervention, and they got this thing out to literally millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. So
Moderna or Pfizer?
Was
I don't know. He didn't say by name.
No, which one did you have, Moderna or Pfizer?
I took the Moderna because that's what was available for me. I took what was available to us. So anyhow, I don't want to get too much involved into that because that's not what this chat is about. Okay.
No, I'm just
Quite frankly,
curious.
the vaccine masking thing and all that stuff has been totally tainted and bastardized by the QAnon crowd. And it's a really shitty conversation. And I hope you are offended by my worst use of the word shitty because it's shitty. Okay. A lot of my friends have died from this. I have close personal friends that have died from this. Family members that have died from this. People are never going to get to talk to in this life again because of that virus. So, anyhow, and I also have people in my life that are very susceptible to it, like my mother. She's doesn't have the greatest immune system. My sister-in-law, she's been in bed for over a year. And if she got infected in this thing, she would surely die immediately. So, this is no joke. This is not a joke. Michael said on a year and a half ago when we first started getting this thing, he says, there are things on your world that if you come close to them, they will get you sick. And it can also kill you. Okay, this is nothing new. We've had things that humans have dabbled with and played with, and it has killed them as a result. Okay. And vaccines are what has stopped us in the last 100 years from getting killed in abundance. Okay. So, they do have a chip out. Here it is. This is your chip, but that's the only chip I know of. So, all right, moving back on from that, we have an opportunity to create a world that works for everyone. Okay, where arguments like that doesn't happen any longer because, we're able to see the value in ourselves and, when you have a different outlook on life, when you know who you are, your gift, like me, I'm of the Church of Pergamum. I'm not a yellow, okay? Yellow is a color. That's not who I am, okay? I am Dave as the Church of Pergamum, okay? And that's the church of the higher mind or the intellect. That which is true, we will find. Okay. Now, once you start realizing your giftedness, and we stop talking about these color schemes that don't really matter about anything, because really, I emanate yellow, but I also radiate green. Or no, I'm sorry, orange. I radiate orange. So there's two colors being in play there. So talking about one color is kind of a folly. It's not, it's a mistake. Okay. So once you discover who you are and you start seeing how you interact in life, you get to do it a lot differently because you're thinking about your giftedness and not other stuff that gets in your way. Okay. Now we do have these wonderful things called traps. Okay. And a lot of folks think that's a bad thing or a negative thing. Well, it's not. It helps you grow. One of the paths to wisdom is wisdom is not gained by that which is repetitious and easy. It's gained by struggle. Okay. So for me, that was kind of a hint. Okay. When do I struggle? When I'm in my trap. What's happening in my trap? I'm growing. I'm growing. Okay. I can't grow in my giftedness. I can only grow in my trap. And let's hope we grow fast because sometimes being in our trap is kind of a pain in the ass. All right. Okay. We got people coming in. Ann Paulson, one of my favorite people on the planet. She's just adorable. I met Ann Paulson probably 20 years ago, back when we did the 18, maybe 20 years ago when we did the Montana thing. And she's just been a really cool lady to me ever since. So hi, Ann Paulson. Love you, lady. All right. Let's see. We got questions. All right. Do we have to wear masks? No. I'm glad I believe that what my purpose to be. Okay. My mom was waxed also. She's not doing the good for breast cancer and bone cancer. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, cancer is one of those things that is really puts a damper on stuff, especially if you got a lot of it. I've lost a lot of family members to that. Now, one of the things that got me interested in this kind of work was all of the family members I've lost because of disease and disharmony, you know. And there's some hope here because we have all kinds of stuff that can help raise our vibrations to a place where we actually have healing. So, all right. So we're about 40 minutes in. Talked
Who's
about
doing the music?
what's that?
Who is doing the music?
Laura. I mean, Laurel. Laurel.
Laurel, okay.
Eden is doing it.
Just by herself, right?
I don't know for sure. It's not etched in stone, poured in concrete. There may be one, you know, Sean may not make it, which I hope he does, because we do the calling every year. And that's one of the best parts of the event is everybody coming to tune with their voice in the very beginning. So I guess we could put it on disc and see if we can sing along with it, but it's really not the same. It's kind of like
Sean is on the fence.
Huh?
Sean is on the fence.
I don't know.
Basically, he basically said that there were things that needed to happen that needed to fall in place before he can make a decision.
Cool. Cool. All right. For me, I've already made my decision. I'm already planning on next year's event personally. So, and I'm planning on it being in Colorado somewhere.
Good.
The central,
Thank you.
the real central area where it's not scorching us or snowing on us. It's going to be mild like it was 2 years ago when we were in Colorado. And it's a good central place. There's a hub there. You know, I'm hoping we get closer to Denver because it's closer to the airports. Flying into Colorado Springs is difficult for some folks. But other than that, Colorado seems to be the center of the scope at this time. We were doing it in different places, but the times we were doing it in different places was we were building the Gate of Grace in the United States. So remember, kids, we still have that grace to pull from. We did build a huge gate in the United States. So stuff was put together in those places and you can still feel the energy. I haven't been to it in a little while, but we went to the hotel here in Reno where we had the event. I went into the room and it still felt like the same type of feeling. So I understand that all of the spots are like that. So we were in Austin a couple of years ago and I never made it to that one again, but I wish I had made it. So, I just was curious to see what it would feel like. So, let's see here, putting a lot of toll on me because who is this speaking? Is this Edward? My mom was It's putting a toll on me because of, sadly, she is not open to Eastern medicine. Yeah, not a lot of folks are. So what else could I expect when I go? I definitely sense this will be a life-changing for me. Every time you go to this, it's a life-changing event.
Oh,
What can you expect? I don't know. I don't know what you can expect.
everything.
Yeah. I've been going
The
since
unexpected.
the unexpected.
There you go.
What we're doing has never been done in the history of ever. So we're creating a new, okay? So what Michael said in the beginning of this was you were given Eden and you guys chose to step away from Eden. We weren't cast out of anything. Nobody got thrown out of anything. That's some made up religious story that, you know, there's so many stories about this stuff. It's just kind of mind boggling. They can't figure out what kind of tree they weren't supposed to eat from either. So, you know, and a snake's going to talk to you. And I don't want to get too involved in that. My scientific mind gets involved and I start really pissing people off with the J wasn't even a letter until the 16th century, nearly 1700 years after all of this was said and done. And none of the books were actually written until 40 years after the supposed murder of Yeshua. So anyhow, I personally think he lived until 86 years old and died in Kashmir, India. That's the research I've done, and that's what I can. So anyhow, a lot of folks are kind of coming up with the same ideas. Anyhow, religion.
Well, you start reading about Mary Magdalene's books and everything like that. There's a whole different continuing story.
Mhm. There's always a continuing story. The lineage goes
And
on. We've lived life after life after life. There's no, this is the only planet that time actually exists in the way that we use time, okay? If you go over just a few planets over to Mars, their days are 11 hours, or yeah, their days are like 11 days or something like that. And their years are like 200 and some of our years. So different. It takes us 365 days to get around the sun. It's going to take them a lot more because they're further out. Okay. So time is different when you go outside of the atmosphere of the United States, of the world, the planet that we live on. Jeremy Blake Lee said that in whether you believe it or not, the musical version of God talking to him was time is a dichotomy that we created to measure moments. Basically, that's all it is a thing that we use to keep ourselves responsible or to stay on task, so to say. It's just a really quite made up. It's made up. There's only now exists. Right now is the only time that actually exists because everything that is or is not is happening right now. It just is. And it's hard to keep up on because everything's happening right now. And now is different than the now I started talking about because it's now. But it still hasn't really changed because now is still now. Get it? Only now.
Now is different than then.
It gets kind of complicated, but it's really easy if you think about it.
This
Oh,
sounds like an Abbott and Costello routine.
It could be. It could be. Figure out a funny routine to go along with it.
I don't know.
Yogi Berra said something. Yeah, I was a kid listening to Yogi Berra when a long time ago, and he said something really. Everybody was kind of put off by it, and somebody asked him at the time. He says, "What do you mean, right now?" Got me thinking. You mean right now? What time is it? Right now? It's right now. That's what time it is. Right now. It's always now.
And the moment I tell you what time it is, it's a different time.
It's a different now than then.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be now and later.
Who's on first? What's on second, third base? Yeah, Abbott and
Some of the
Costello.
I
younger
don't
kids
know.
don't know that stuff. That's some of the younger folks coming in. And by the way, a lot of the people that'll be coming in are going to be a lot younger because we're getting a lot of folks that are growing into this world that don't like what they're growing into. We're not giving them a very nice place to live. So they're going to do something about it. And they're kind of pissed off.
Yep.
So, we need to consider that, our old jokes are kind of then again, they are funny though. Trying to see what my wife has a camera on there. Those are her Minion glasses. There she is. We were just looking at your Minion glasses, trying to figure out what they were. She's got the goggles, Minion goggles.
Oh,
So, all right. Well, if for those of you that are tuning in, and you haven't signed up for the event or registered, go do that now. Get to the event. The more people we have, the better off we're going to be. Oh, wait a minute. What do we got here? So I definitely expect. Okay. David, thanks for telling me what I should do with my clients for tuning forks. I had my first client Wednesday in my new spot, and more advice on how I can help with others. We'll talk privately if you want. Edward's building a practice, and he's the best way to do this thing is to keep practicing. One of the things that Michael taught us is how to help others with tuning forks and essential oils. And yes, you can charge for that sort of service. We have several different processes that we go through. Now, I call it processes because that's what Michael calls it. This is a process that we go through. Okay. So the simplest one is the chakra tuning, and you can actually help people out really quick with that. But my recommendation for anybody getting involved in using this stuff as a healing modality is to practice for a while. Go ahead and practice with people, but move according to what your abilities are. Don't project out further than what you can do. That's my recommendation. So start with what you got. All right. So, all right. Anybody got any other questions? No. And she's just a. All right. Where's my Ann Polson's in here still? Maybe she didn't make it. All right.
oh well.
Oh well. All right. Well, my stomach's starting to grumble, and I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Unless Judy has something to ramble on about. Judy.
Well, you do.
Babylon. You gonna babble for me?
Babylon.
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 Babylon is dead.
Babylon Dave.
I could think of a few worse things to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
He's on task. He's consistent. He's had the same conversation for 26 years.
Yeah.
Terrible things.
Oh boy.
Edward saying, well, you could talk about that one star that you were telling me about. Everybody on this screen has one of those. Most folks have stars. Edward's asking about the stars. I actually have videos that are just dedicated to that particular subject. I'll send you a link to one of those videos, Edward. By the way, if you want to get to all the videos that I've done over the years, go to the group, Children of Light, on Facebook, and then you go on to the more, and then you look for videos. You got to click around a little bit, and you'll find videos, and there's like 3 years of videos there. Mostly you see my face going. My favorite one was this with the coffee mug. So
In other words, you got to wander on to find Dave babbling on.
I thought they were pictures. What? What's that?
I said, in other words, they have to wander around to find Dave babbling on.
Well, if I didn't babble, a lot of people would be scratching their heads wondering about what the hell do I do next?
Yeah, what's wrong with
At least
Dave?
I'm not talking about me the whole time, because most of the folks that were teaching this a long time ago, it was all about them. It wasn't about the work. It was all about them. For me, it's all about the work. It's all about the work.
Yeah.
Get you guys back on track with it. I've always led you back to the work. I can lead you to my website, but why? You're going to find it if you're looking for this work. So.
Oh boy.
Anywho, all right. Well, we'll be seeing you guys here in a couple weeks. I don't know if I'm doing chat next week. We have just a few weeks left. Let's see here. Mr. Calendar says we have, oh, the 11th. Yes, I'll do a chat on the 11th. I'm probably going to skip the 18th, and the 25th will be in the same room together that day. So I'll do one more chat before the event. I might do a chat during the event. Not exactly sure. We're gonna have to find out when we get there. I was gonna do one last time we were there, and I wasn't able to get to it. Plus, it was extraordinarily noisy in that room, so it would be hard to do a chat at the event. All right. So if we don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and bid you adieu until next week. Friday, the June 11th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and same gathering time, same gathering channel. And as always, my blessings, my gifts, and my deeds are of you. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bless your heart.
Bless your, nice seeing you, Judy.
Bless your heart.
All right. Blessings.
Good night, everyone. Bless your hearts.
Good night, John boy.